All right, students, I'm going to show you how to put a grid on your portrait so that you can use it for the upcoming assignment, the grid transfer project. Before you begin though, do read the article. It's pretty crucial on what makes a good reference photograph. It's important that you pick something that has a good range of values, that's well balanced, it's not overexposed or underexposed. The idea is that not all photographs make great drawing references. You need to have something that follows those criteria so that you get a good drawing. Once you've done that though, go ahead and pull up Photopea. Photopea is a great free online resource that works pretty much the same as Photoshop, and we're going to use that to get our project started. Now you're going to use your own self-portraits or a portrait of someone that means something to you. I went ahead and used this online picture of David Lynch, and you can either choose open from computer or just drop the file right into the software. From here, the most important step, follow my cursor, is to go over here to this button right here, which is called the crop tool, and then click on that. Right now it's in the free form and we want to change it to a fixed ratio. So click that button up there and hit fixed ratio. And you want to change your settings. I don't know what yours are, but make sure it's 18 width by 24 height. All right. And that's to make it the same size as our drawing paper. Our drawing paper is 18 wide by 24 high. This will make this fit perfectly into the outcome or the drawing that we're going to make. Okay, once you've done that, you have a few choices. You can kind of play with this window if you wish. You can change the size depending on how you want to crop it. This one's set up pretty nicely already. I'm going to go ahead and leave it. But you can also move it as long as you get the whole photo on there. I think I want it a little bit off to the side like so, and crop it right there. Once you're ready, go up here, see my cursor, there's a little check mark, and if you click that, it'll crop the image. Now there's one other thing that we're going to want to do before we move on to step 2, and that is to make sure your image is in black and white if it isn't already. So come over here, up here, and pick image, and then you can come down to adjustments. Then over on this side, you come down to black and white, and then hit OK. Awesome. So we're pretty much set up now. One last thing, if you do want to make any more adjustments, I mean, like I said, this is like Photoshop. You can keep doctoring your image if you need to. This one looks pretty good, but if you had to, I'll just show you some of the things that are available. You can go to image again, go to adjustments, and I mean, there's a lot of different advanced things here. I'm just going to suggest using brightness and contrast. You know, you can raise the brightness of your image if you wish. I might make mine a little bit brighter. And then for contrast, this will change how the shadows look. You can create less contrast if you want to see more light in your shadows, or create more contrast if you want it to look more like a stencil. Hopefully it's already set at a pretty good spot. I'm going to go ahead and just maybe move the contrast down a few points. And that's it. To file this, to save this, you need to move up here to File. See my cursor? Hit File. And then come down here to Export As. You want to export it as a JPEG. Click JPEG. Okay, and then hit Save. And that will just go to my downloads on my computer. I'm going to open it up. have it show in Finder. And I might rename this Final Crop, just so I know which one I'm looking for. And then what I'm going to do now is move this to my desktop so I don't lose it. Okay. Now we can go ahead and get out of Photopea. We don't need it anymore. And now we're going to use GridMaker Pro, which is another free online software that will add a grid to the image that you want. So go ahead and choose image, click that to start, and scroll through until you find the one that you want. Okay, there's our cropped version, black and white. Upload it, and it's in the software. So there's a few things over here that we're going to want to change. The first thing is we're going to change the amount of rows and columns. If you're in basic drawing, online basic drawing, you're going to change it to have 9 columns and 12 rows. What that allows us to do is when we draw on our drawing paper, you're just going to go ahead and make 2" by 2" squares. They will fit perfectly into the 18 by 24" format, and this will transfer exactly to the edges of your page. Perfect. Okay. If you are in my intermediate drawing class, we're going to go ahead and bump this up to 12 columns and 16 rows. And that's going to allow you to make 1.5" squares throughout your paper and have the same result. But for basic drawing, let's keep it at 9 and 12. Now you can see these grid marks are pretty dark, and a lot of them don't show up, especially against this clothing or in this background. So you can go down to line color, the next step, and either choose white, it's a little harsh, or maybe gray. Gray looks to work pretty well. It's kind of in between. The next step would be line opacity. Go ahead and leave it where it's at. Then you have line width. It's at 1 pixel. Go ahead and keep it there. That's perfect. We don't want really thick lines. See what happens when I raise that. They become too intrusive and they ruin the image. So let's keep it at 1. And then down here where it says show grid labels, let's uncheck that. We don't need it. We don't need to show diagonal lines. And then paper format, again, this one's not really important, but I've been choosing letter size, which is our 8.5 by 11" paper. And at this point, you've completed, the steps to prepare for this assignment. You have your photograph, you have everything. All you need to do now is download it and save this file. Make sure this file is what you use to print. As you can see on here, it's called let's click on it, gridded 12 by 9 photo paper, or photograph letter. Yeah, take this and have it printed out. I recommend taking it to a print shop so that you can have it printed out, again, just on regular 8.5 by 8.5 by 11" printing paper. But be sure that when you select your printer settings, choose a setting where it's selecting to print a photo, okay, instead of text, because the printing outcome will be slightly better. It'll be more, mindful of the values if you choose that option. And print it out so it fits the page. You don't cut off any of the image, and then we'll go from there. Okay, great. Thank you.